at 6.
Well, a wet and windy storm finally starting to make its way out, leaving us sunny for Thursday, but another storm system comes our way Friday. Could give us some snow. The latest on that coming up.
Bringing in the wrecking ball, knocking down an old hotel and making room for change in Davenport.
There's been a real rush to blame refugees who are the same people who are running from ISIS.
Americans torn between wanting safety and acting with compassion. A look at the historical perspective on refugees. It tops our news at 6 tonight. More local conversation about Syrian refugees after the terrorist attacks in Paris. I'm Paula Sands.
I'm Gary Battier. We've been talking about the increase of governors saying they won't allow refugees to seek shelter in their states. That because of fear the refugees might be terrorists. Today, French police raided a building in northern Paris where suspects linked to Friday's attacks were believed to be trapped. It was a more than 6-hour operation, and officials say the mastermind behind Friday's attacks was the main target. A woman blew herself up when police carried out that operation. The French president confirming that 2 people died in that raid, the second being a male not yet identified. 5 people were arrested. And with suspects still out there, many are concerned for safety. Just this afternoon, President Barack Obama vowed to veto a bill from House Republicans that would increase screening for Syrian and Iraqi refugees before they entered the United States. On the other side, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan says those regulations would improve safety.
We are a compassionate nation. We always have been, and we always will be. But we also must remember that our first priority is to protect the American people. We can be compassionate, and we can also be safe.
Kwqc's Courtney Yoon looks deeper into the issue today of the refugees, especially in our area. Courtney, what are we finding out tonight?
Gary, dozens of governors across the nation are closing their borders to Syrian refugees. Both governors in Iowa and Illinois agree with that sentiment, citing security concerns. But a local college professor says the United States is acting out of fear rather than compassion.
From a historical perspective on refugee and immigrant settlement in the United States, I think we are acting out of fear in this case.
Dr. Chris Strunk is a professor and studies international migration here at Augustana College. He says there's been a lot of misunderstanding that has led to the pushback against accepting Syrian refugees into the United States.
There are some clear parallels we can draw to the fears of the 1920s and 1930s when a large percentage of the population, the American population, was against accepting Jewish refugees from Europe.
He also relates what's happening now to when Japanese Americans were put in internment camps during World War II.
We're acting out of fear instead of out of compassion.
Dr. Strunk says fear of Islam and racism have also contributed to the backlash.
There's been a real rush to blame refugees who are the same people who are running from ISIS.
U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley says halting Syrian refugees from coming into the U.S. is a matter of national security.
I've called for a halt till we get certification from the intelligence agencies and the FBI that we do have a vetting process to make sure no terrorists come in with other refugees.
Senator Grassley says their #1 responsibility is to protect Americans.
ISIS have said that they're going to try to sneak terrorists into the United States to kill Americans the same way they have in Europe now. We've got to make sure that we keep Americans safe as much as we can.
Dr. Strunk says about 4 million or 25% of the Syrian population has been displaced. He says most Syrian refugees are in Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan. Both Dr. Strunk and Senator Grassley say the United States has played a role in creating conditions in the Middle East that have contributed to the refugee crisis we're seeing now. Gary.
We saw flags at half-staff today in the area honoring the victims of the attacks in Paris. President Obama sent out a proclamation the flags be lowered to show solidarity with France.
Lee County State's Attorney Anna Sackle-Miller was arrested for DUI over the weekend. Today, she held a news conference announcing what this means now for her career and for the people she serves in Lee County. KWQC's Tiffany Liu reports from the courthouse.
Lee County State's Attorney Anna Sacco-Miller announced this morning that she is taking a temporary leave of absence after her DUI this weekend. She held a press conference here at the courthouse today. She apologizes for her actions this weekend, saying she had a lapse in judgment when she decided to drive home after a night out with friends. Sacco-Miller says the process was humiliating but appropriate. She hit another car and the Illinois State Patrol charged her with driving under the influence. Her blood alcohol content level was 0.10. Sacco-Miller says that she is willing to face the consequences after her poor decision, especially as her role as a Lee County State's Attorney.
Even though this is a misdemeanor, I'm pained and embarrassed in how I've let down the citizens of Lee County. I'm more embarrassed and ashamed by how I've let down my 2 children and my husband, Tony. I do not intend to hire an attorney. I will see the process through and face the consequences for my actions.
Sacco-Miller says she's had personal problems in her life that led up to these problems. This was her first DUI and first arrest, and again, she is getting treatment right now during her leave of absence. Reporting in Dixon, Illinois, Tiffany Liu, KWQC, TV6 News.
Sacco-Miller is currently staying in an inpatient treatment center. She assures Lee County residents they are in good hands with the assistant state's attorneys and business will proceed as usual.
Moline police are looking for a suspect that is now charged with first-degree murder. It was 2 weeks ago that Moline police sent an alert to the community looking for this man, Demetrius Anderson, in connection to a stabbing. Police say 21-year-old Adagio McGee was stabbed in the home in the 700 block of 18th Avenue in Moline on October 24th. McGee died just over a week after that stabbing. After an autopsy, police are now charging Demetrius Anderson with first-degree murder. Anyone with knowledge of his whereabouts is asked to call Crime Stoppers. There is a cash reward offered for his capture.
An accident today involving a TV6 News vehicle serves as a strong reminder to wear your seatbelt. Today, our chief photographer Randy Beery was traveling on North Brady in Davenport when his station vehicle was struck by another car. This impact pushed the small SUV onto its top and spun it around. Randy says the side window shattered as the vehicle kept sliding, finally coming to a rest near 46th Street. There it is. He was still strapped in his seatbelt hanging upside down. Inside, with some bystanders came by, helped him get out and unbuckled. He has some minor injuries, but knows it would have been a much different situation had he not been buckled up.
Part of me would have come out that driver's window while I was skidding along there because, I mean, I was secure, and when that window popped, I mean, Brady Street was right there.
The police report shows the other car's driver was cited for a red light violation.
Right now across the Quad Cities area, gusts from about 25 to 40 miles per hour. Winds will settle down a little bit, but we're still expecting pretty windy conditions overnight with gusts to about 25. Right now you see Galena with gusts around 40 miles per hour, nearly 30 here in the Quad Cities, 32 mile per hour gusts in Burlington and 37 miles per hour in Monticello. Temperature wise, well, we've been holding steady in the 50s for much of the day, but now we're starting to fall back into the 40s, and it's a cool down that's beginning for our Thursday. We'll get back to the sunshine after the strong storm system moves to the north and east and allows us to get back some sunshine in our skies, but it will remain windy. And as we get into Friday, we're talking about another system that'll bring rain and or snow to the area, and we'll explain what we're thinking in terms of accumulations coming up shortly. But for the time being, gusty into the night, mostly cloudy. We'll clear out for the day Thursday. A cold start in the mid-30s, mid-40s for highs with bright and blustery conditions.
One of Davenport's most familiar landmarks that became an eyesore is coming down this week. Demolition is underway on the former Howard Johnson Hotel. And KWQC's Brian Bozen is here with what's next for this property. Big plans, Brian.
There are, Paula, and the Wrecking Ball took its first swings today with a crowd looking on, saying that they are very happy to finally see this thing falling to the ground. The former Howard Johnson Hotel had sat empty on the corner of River Drive and 4th Street for about 6 years. It's now being demolished to make way for new development, and with the help of the Downtown Partnership, developers Riverwatch LLC are putting up a 6-story office building with a restaurant and also some retail space. The $20 million project is called Riverwatch Place.
It's going to be great to drive by and see blue sky. It'd be even better when we have a building there and it's a place that's worthy of this great location and great views of the river.
Demolition could take about 3 to 6 weeks, with construction set to begin in the spring, Paula.
Demolition was supposed to start this past summer, but was delayed because of environmental issues that needed to be addressed.
In Bettendorf, the city planner is hoping to buy up and demolish some homes in the city's flood zone, those homes along Duck Creek. Bettendorf is applying for a federal grant for $1.68 million. They will have to commit a 15% match, which the council has already agreed to. There are at least 10 homes in that flood zone. No one, they say, will be forced out. It will be volunteer-based. The demolished homes would then become green space. We shall know more about the grant this spring. Still to come, areas across eastern Iowa impacted by the wind. Look at some of the damage in the area.
And our high temperatures for today officially will go down into the books as fairly comfortable in the low 60s. But that was at midnight. Our temperatures have been falling all day, and we are headed for a big cool down toward the weekend. Your 7-day forecast is next.
You're watching Gary Mativier and Paula Sands. This is KWQC TV6 News at 6.
Weather damage all across eastern Iowa today from the strong winds overnight. This is Marengo here, where the wind destroyed a Cub Cadet building, taking off the roof and blowing debris all over town. Iowa County Emergency Management says no tornado formed here, but a strong 20-second gust of wind around 2 in the morning is the cause of all of this. The National Weather Service has been out assessing it today. So I guess, well, the wind was around here too. We had it as well, right?
Yeah, and to our west, I guess in Denver, almost like hurricane winds out there. Not quite the case here, but very windy day. Katie Donovan is up on the weather deck right now. Katie, set the scene for us.
It's very windy up here, as you can see by my hair, and I would say something about the leaves on the trees, but it's kind of dark, and all of the wind over the last few days and today has blown them all off. So we're going to be seeing windy conditions continuing overnight tonight, and wind advisories have been issued for much of northwest Iowa, and we here are not under any kind of wind advisory, but winds have been gusting between 40 and 45 miles an hour today. And now that has been creating some problematic driving conditions for area drivers. So if you're out and about driving tonight or any time in the next couple of days, you're just asked to take your time. Also, you'll want to secure any loose items on your porch as they will blow away in this wind. And we are going to be seeing those windy conditions continuing, as I mentioned. Also, the possibility of snow in the forecast for this weekend. Eric has the latest on that right now. Right now, we're live from the weather deck. Katie Donovan, KWQC TV6 News.
And now, the Quad Cities' most reliable forecast with Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We'll talk about the snow in a moment, and that's good because this will give you a chance to fasten your seatbelt at home, because we could be talking about some accumulations. The winds gusting right now anywhere from about 30 miles per hour on Kwqc to nearly 40 miles per hour in Galena. And going on what Katie said about tough driving conditions, well, look at where the wind is coming in from. Mainly the south-southwest, so any east-west road is where you'd find that tough to kind of contain that steering wheel. Now, the sustained wind still pretty brisk here at about 15 to 25 miles per hour. We'll see things calm down a touch tonight, but not much. We'll still see gusts around 25, and that will get us into a blustery Thursday where our gusts will go right back up to around 40 to 45 miles per hour. So that's the news in the short term as far as the weather is concerned. Otherwise, Thursday will look great from the mild side of a window. You'll see sunshine, and if you step outside, you'll notice temperatures a little cooler, mid-40s for highs, and with that wind might feel more like the 30s. Friday, talking about snow, and after that system goes by, a lot chillier for the weekend. Here are the wind advisories that Katie mentioned off to our north and west through Thursday for gusts up to 45. We're going to be very close to wind advisory conditions here in the Quad Cities, yet no wind advisory has been issued yet. Now we move to Friday. When a snow system comes on through, what would limit our snow accumulation? The fact that it's a fast mover, it's not going to be a long-term event. We've got some warm ground, and that's going to melt a lot of the first few flakes, so that could keep it from piling up. And if there's any kind of a northern shift in this storm, which we'll have to still wait about 18 to 24 hours to see, it would mean less snow and more rain. Well, so what's the bottom line? Well, this system is still in the Gulf of Alaska, so it really hasn't gotten over land yet for our weather models to take a good sampling of it. We still expect accumulations. How much? Well, that's the million-dollar question. But with the cold temperatures this system will pull in, any snow that we do get will stay maybe a day 2 or 3. Here's the timing as we get into Friday. Nothing happening Thursday, by the way. Windy, yes, but sunny. As you can see, by 4 o'clock, we're looking at a lot of snow to our north and west, and that rain-snow line stays right around Interstate 80, but the wraparound cool air would bring snow to most areas of the QC. Could linger a few flurries into Saturday. How much snow? We'll have amounts tomorrow, but it's still a little too early to call. But I would suspect some shoveling right in the central QC around the I-80 corridor. To the north, Highway 30 and north, a little deeper, but more of just a nuisance snow from Highway 34 south. Hey, right now getting into the evening with temperatures in the 50s, but mostly 40s, and that is the trend. Falling temperatures and a little bit of falling rain. We've got some sprinkles breaking out around the area, but those will come to an end as we get into the night. So those sprinkles end. Still mostly cloudy and windy. 34 our low by morning, 45 tomorrow's high. So certainly cool, blustery with gusts to around 40, but back to a mostly sunny sky. Checking out the next 7, here comes Friday, 45, but then the rain and snow hits later in the day and overnight into Saturday, a chilly night, so some of that snow will definitely stick. Might start the day with some sticking, or I should say some lingering flurries on Saturday and some windy conditions. Pay attention to the parade forecast, but then we dry things out and get back to the 50s with some rain, not only Wednesday, but into Thursday, Thanksgiving as well.
Yeah, Paul and I keep a very close eye on that parade forecast. Bettendorf, by the way, officially a bicycle-friendly community. The League of American Bicyclists has designated the area as bronze level. It joins nearly 400 communities across the country. This shows the city welcomes cyclists with events like the Share the Road campaigns and Ride to Work days. Bettendorf also has a bicycle and pedestrian advisory committee and coordinator with over 25 miles of recreation and separated trails. Still to come, one candidate dropping out of the race for 2016, but others are continuing to campaign in the Quad Cities.
Residents of Rock Island County will see a property tax increase after much debate at last night's county board meeting. The board approved a tax levy that raises the county portion of residential property taxes. It's a 16% increase. That comes to about $36 a year for a property worth $100,000. The proposal failed at first, but passed when the board reconsidered it.
Decision 2016, a few candidates visiting the Quad City area this week, just a day after Republican candidate Bobby Jindal dropped out of the race. Rick Santorum will be making stops in the area tomorrow. He'll be at Ellie's Tea and Coffee in the 200 block of 2nd Street, Muscatine, Coffee and Conversation event. Then at 10 tomorrow morning, he will be at Blondie's Coffee and Outback in DeWitt. That event is also open to the public. On Saturday, voters can hear from Rand Paul, who will be at a Victory Enterprises on 30th Street in Davenport. It's a focus group for Davenport voters. For more information on the race for the White House, all the candidates coming to the area, check out our website, kwqc.com.
A celebration of philanthropy today in the Quad Cities with a special awards ceremony. Our own David Nelson emceed that luncheon at the Isle of Capri Conference Center in Bettendorf. This event recognizes outstanding philanthropists and volunteers in our community, people who reach beyond themselves to help others. Congratulations to all those honored today. Here's an event built on volunteers for sure, the Quad City Arts Festival of Trees and the parade that kicks it off. Giant character balloons will fill the streets of downtown Davenport on Saturday, and we'll cover it live on the air and on our website. Parade coverage starts at 10:30 Saturday morning right here on TV6. And our Toys for Tots Drive-Up Donation Day is coming up, too. To register to receive toys, you can go to the new warehouse on Spruce Hills Drive in Davenport or in Bettendorf. Bring a valid photo ID, proof of address, and birth certificates for all children. To donate toys, our Drive-Up Day is a great time to do that here at KWQC on Thursday, December 3rd.
Still to come in sports, former Rock Ridge basketball star Ethan Happ making a big impact at Wisconsin. And Iowa football is 3 wins away from a 13-0 record. Hear why the Hawkeyes are in the driver's seat to make it to the college football playoffs.
You're watching sports with Joey Danya.
Iowa, you're fine. You're great. With Ohio State up there, if Iowa wins out, they win at Nebraska, and they go to the Big Ten championship game, and they beat an Ohio State or a Michigan State, and they finish 13-0, they don't have anything to worry about.
While many are questioning Iowa's right to be ranked in the top 5, reality is Iowa likely controls its own destiny to reach the college football playoff. Outside of the selection committee, it really doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, and the committee clearly thinks highly of Hawkeye football.
Again, we look at their resume. They've got the 2 wins on the road that certainly has impacted us. And then they're balanced, offense and defense. They seem to be strong on both sides of the ball. Again, as we said last week, they're not a flashy team, but they're consistent on both sides of the ball.
Saturday is senior day at Kinnick. Iowa and Purdue kick off at 11 a.m. With a win, the Hawkeyes clinch a division title and a trip to Indianapolis for the Big Ten Championship. Chad Braun takes over Monmouth football, and the Fighting Scots don't miss a beat. In his first season at the helm, Braun leads Monmouth to an 8-2 record and the Midwest Conference Championship game. Today, Braun is named the South Division Coach of the Year. The Anawan-Wethersfield Titans are getting ready for the state semifinals, and what a run it's been to this point. Saturday's fourth quarter against Hall was a comeback for the history books. The Titans were trailing 21-3, but after 27 unanswered, Anawan-Wethersfield is on to the semifinals, believing anything is possible.
It's going to seem like a crazy answer, but yeah, actually we did. My teammates told me, you know what, keep your head up, man. You know, I'm about to win this thing, so let's go.
Best one that I've been a part of. This is my 7th year here. It's going to be hard to top that. I know that for sure. So it'd be nice, of course, if we didn't put ourselves in those situations, but we'll take it however it comes this time of year.
And coming up tonight at 10, Mihir Bhagat will have more on the incredible comeback from Anawan-Wethersfield. Just 3 games into his college basketball career, former Rockridge Rocket Ethan Happ looks poised for big things in the Big Ten. Happ led the Badgers to a win over North Dakota last night with a career-high 17 points and 7 rebounds. Look at that dunk right there. The redshirt freshman already in the starting lineup for Bo Ryan, and Ethan appears to be getting stronger with each and every day.
I mean, it's nice to get a few games under my belt and then feel it out a little bit. But, I mean, it's a team game. I could have 17 one night, and then I know Vito, Shoei, Bronson, Nige, they're all scorers. So we're really potent on offense.
And Chicago Cubs star Jake Arrieta is the National League Cy Young Award winner. Here's Eric with a final check on your weather.
All right, still a little blustery as we get out into the evening hours. Gusts right now from about 30 to 40 miles per hour, calming down a little bit, and our temperatures cooling down. We were in the 50s for much of the day. Now the cooler air slowly sweeping in from the west, so we'll see the temperatures slowly dropping through the 40s, but all the way to the mid-30s by morning time as we eventually clear our skies. A few sprinkles out and about right now. Can't rule out a few of those during the evening hours and early into the overnight, but they will end, and by morning clouds really start to break quickly. So low 40s by midnight, mid 30s, and still windy as we kick off our Thursday. It's just going to be a blustery day. We'll get the sunshine back with highs in the mid 40s, but still rather windy with gusts up to around 40 miles per hour.
And by the way, Katie made it down safely.
I know, yes, she did not get blown off the roof. She's all set. Thanks for watching at 6. Our hellos are from Linden Church in Linden, Illinois.
See you back here at 10.
Good night.
Hello, Quad Cities. Hello, Quad Cities.
Hello, Quad Cities.
Hello, Quad Cities. Hello.